Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Welcome into this Tuesday edition of the HyperX D2L Western Challenge. It's an Alliance doubleheader, and we've got a hell of a match to lead things off. Alliance making their debut here in the D2L Western Challenge, while Empire, well, they've been here twice before and not been very happy with the result. Let's take a look at how these two teams stack up before we take a look at the standings and jump into the game. Beginning with Alliance, again, making their debut here today. Yeah, this squad hasn't changed much since you saw them become millionaires walking off the stage in Seattle. And yeah, for good reason. These guys gel together well. They play together well. They're led by S4, of course, the mid player, with the off lane, the indomitable Admiral Bulldog, who will be drafting for them again here today. Gonna have Lodo, of course, as experienced as any vet on the scene and as legendary as pretty much anyone in the scene as well. He'll be your carry player, while Ake holds down the support in jungle, one of the biggest playmakers from the jungle position on Chin in particular. And of course, EGM, that final piece that Alliance slid into place last year on the hard support. Again, they've yet to put a game behind them here in the D2L, but they got two ahead here today. They'll be taking on Empire in the front half. And Empire, yeah, they played twice and ran into some pretty tough competition, dropping to 0-2 already. So a very important match for them. Once you drop to 0-3, you pretty much need to win out to guarantee your shot at the playoffs. I mean, yes, we only have we have 8 teams, with 6 of those teams advancing to the postseason. But still, being in that kind of a hole that early on, regardless of who you've lost against, is a problematic place to be. They're led by Mag, of course, in the off lane, who has really stormed onto the scene and has really become one of the more popular off laners going in the West. Of course, Silent the carry, Resolution, who is a standout mid player and is quickly earning himself a following, and for very good reason. Van Score, of course, on support, and Always Wanna Fly holds down the hard support position. And yeah, we can see how these two teams fit into the whole mix. Alliance, well, they've yet to fit into much of anything looking at the standings, while Empire finds themselves down near the bottom. Team Liquid has appeared 3 times and lost all 3. Empire 0-2 there. That's 8th and 7th place, respectively. Then, of course, Cloud9, who we saw in action in a doubleheader yesterday, they split that, went going 1-1 in dealing Na'Vi, who's currently ahead of them by 1 point. Their first loss. At the top, though, it's Evil Geniuses, and as we can see, with only 2 teams yet to play a series, Alliance and Rock's Kiss. Alliance actually has 2 doubleheaders, 1 today and 1 tomorrow. Rock's Kiss will be making their debut tomorrow as well. So a ton of Dota on the way for Alliance, and this playoff picture should look very, very clear, not just at the end of today, but especially at the end of tomorrow. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll be joined once again by Tralf Dota to bring you all of the insight and analysis. We've got the draft already underway, but again, an Alliance doubleheader, Alliance taking on Empire in our first series of the day. And you know, I couldn't help myself. I actually didn't mean to do this. It was just a shirt I laid out before, but boom, my Stack Team Alliance shirt underneath the hoodie. You can actually find this, by the way, if you want it, over at designbyhumans.com. And I'm not going to lie, that's like the best t-shirt site I've ever seen in my life. Not just because they handle Alliance and EG and other esports stuff, but it's an awesome shirt and an awesome site, especially if you like really unique and truly artful t-shirts. So make sure you check that out. Coming up in just a moment, though, again, Empire versus Alliance, Game 1 here on the Western Challenge. We'll be right back. And as we can see, the draft's already just about halfway complete. We've got 3 heroes banned out on both sides as Empire gets rid of Ake's Shin, Bulldog's Nature's Prophet, and Bulldog's Lone Druid. No surprise to see those 2 players getting the majority of the attention early on. Well, Alliance, well, they take out the Centaur, who has seen such an unbelievable surge in popularity in past weeks, as well as, of course, the Ember Spirit, considered by many to be the strongest hero in all of Dota right now, and, of course, the Dazzle. They did manage to snag the Lycan in the puck, so S4's puck going to be on the menu for the day at least one time, while Invoker and Batrider taken up by Team Empire. So to break down the draft and lend all of the insight throughout all of the D2L Western Challenge, welcome in once again Tralf. And Tralf, my friend, it's going to be a lot of fun to get to see Alliance make their debut. Really looking forward to seeing what kind of game shape they're in, as they have been up and down a little bit of late. But, you know, Empire, who seems to be just kind of rolling and doing quite well in pretty much every tournament, finds themselves down in 7th place already in the Western Challenge.
Yeah, I'm actually in particular very excited to cast Alliance for the first time. I know several of these players as my, more Hontrash buddies. Ake, Loda, and S4, I played with them a bit before, and Ake, I'm just so happy for them too, because Ake especially is just like one of the nicest guys I've ever met in real life.
For sure.
So super nice and so super humble, and yeah, so I'm really excited to be casting them. And you mentioned Empire, yeah, they had such a good track record outside of this tournament right now, but yeah, not doing too well early on here. So they desperately, I think, need a win here against Alliance, but it's not going to be easy. Alliance picking up Lycan and Puck early on. Again, S4's Puck is insane. It's very, very good. It's not that Puck is bad by any means, but we haven't seen too much of him, and if you watch the interview, or sorry, if you read the interviews by a couple of players, namely Arteezy, talking about how he feels the mid lane should be played or at least drafted, is that it's more of like for him a one role in a sense, or a 1.5, and it's like heroes like Shadow Fiend or Ember or Naga and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see Alliance play their Puck, and I know S4, he's just excels at these kind of tempo control heroes like Puck and Quap and things like that.
Yeah, and you know the Puck pickup, and you kind of notice this about S4 is there have been, a hero, and Puck hasn't necessarily been nerfed that much, but an example of a hero that has fallen into the same role because of slight nerfs and changes is Magnus. S4 just excels at these heroes that you're going to be much better at and really only going to get the most out of. You play the hero, you know what I mean? Like, there was a point where pretty much any mid player could play an effective mag, and then there were some changes here and there. And now it's just like, oh, if he's a mag player, then mag's sick hero. If you're, and we saw that even out of Dindy. I mean, it's not like Dindy was terrible, God no. But compare his play on Magnus to heroes or to players who play Mag a whole lot, and you can see a huge difference in what they're able to get out of the hero. And I really feel like Puck has reached that place as well. I mean, it's like riding a bike. You play the hero enough, you're going to know how to pick it back up on any given moment. But it still helps to be playing it competitively, regularly, and for your team as much as for you to know how to make use of what he can bring to bear. So coming down to the last few picks now, Empire has remained pretty damn wide open. They're pretty decent all around, especially if the Invoker ends up going Quas Wex instead of Quas Exhort, though we have been seeing mostly Exhort builds so far throughout the Western Challenge. But
yeah,
a little bit of extra initiation, AoE initiation. Of course, the mana burn will be very effective on heroes like Puck and Visage in particular. Bat Rider's a very nice answer to the Lycan, able to keep him off of heroes that he's trying to focus down. Ancient Apparition, of course, with his ultimate, makes it tough for Lycan to push into him, and that's usually what Lycan's going to want to do. Yeah, he's a big team fighter, but generally he's going to be looking to push towers early, and a nice little counter to that. And Rubik's going to have a handful of decent spells to steal now with the Venomancer, Visage, and Puck on the other side, while Alliance, I mean, you see Visage and Lycan, they can push hard. Venomancer does okay in that role. I mean, Plague Ward certainly helped, and he just kind of contributes to whatever. But I like that they have the Puck with the Lycan and Visage, because one of the most important parts of any push-oriented lineup is always having the reach to engage behind your enemy's tower. That way they can't just sit comfortably behind their own Tier 1 or Tier 2 and just slowly finish you off. If you have that long-range threat, that makes them much more antsy and much more likely to just give a tower up and fall back if they feel like they're being overwhelmed.
Yeah, and I know I just went off on a tangent before about, what kind of mid heroes are popular right now, but I think Puck is so freaking good for a number of reasons. And I mean, they're obvious, but especially with Lycan, it makes it really easy for Lycan to just go from target to target in a team fight, because they're just sitting there with a coil on them. If you can get multiple people in that coil, it works quite nicely together, actually. Same thing kind of goes with like Venomancer, so you can get a nice ulti off if Venomancer has the levels. For Team Empire, I actually really like their supports. I think Rubik and AA are really good here. Rubik in particular is good against Lycan. It's also good against Puck. The AA is very good against push as well, if you're able to use that Ice Blast from far away. And obviously, you touched on the Bat Rider. That's good against Lycan as well. So I'm a little curious about the Venomancer pickup from Alliance, because of the AA and Rubik picked up from Empire with Bat on the board. I don't know if Empire had the intention to go aggressive against Lycan. And yeah, I don't think they're going to with a Morph pick. So
no.
I'm not 100% sold on the Venomancer pick. I know that Alliance likes it. And it is certainly good for pushing, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, Veno's just one of those heroes. He's a generally all-around good support. One thing that he does extremely well is roam with Visage. Early on, you can make a lot happen with those two through nothing but the power of Grave Chill and Gale, especially when you talk about the damage output that you're going to be able to get from Soul Assumption. So, looking at the mid matchup, this seems like a very cookie-cutter kind of a lineup coming out of Empire. Invoker mid, Bad Rider off, and of course the tri-lane after that, AA, Rubik, and Morphling. And Alliance is likely to do the same thing, though I think we're going to see the supports maybe be a little more active for Alliance coming up early, though. I mean, Ancient Apparition and Rubik are excellent roamers as well. Puck's just so hard to bring down out of that mid lane unless you have really hard dedicated stuns, and they're not going to have that with that support tandem. And Morphling, as good as he can be, there's a nice pickup to try and shut down the Morphling as well. I love a Doom pick into a Morphling. Love it.
Yeah, I was just thinking they need more lockdown right now. The only thing they have to stop more from using the strength gain is the Puck silence, but that's only for 2.5 seconds, I think.
Right.
Something like that. Maybe 2.75. I'm not 100% sure, but now, the Doom is quite good. Not going to have the easiest time if they do decide to run him in the off lane, but it is Admiral Bulldog, and I'm sure he'll find his farm. Which, by the way, I didn't know. How long has he been drafting? Do you know about that?
Yeah. No, I've heard that it's been he's been drafting for a little while.
Okay.
Like on and off. So I don't know the exact time or anything like that, but there's definitely been some chatter about it on Twitter, and I've seen it a handful of times just tuning into other tournaments. But something that's going to be an option here for Alliance if they want to. It doesn't look like they're going to avail themselves of it. I was going to say, when you have a Morph and a Rubik and an Ancient Apparition, that's good. You're talking 2 ranged heroes and 1 pseudo ranged hero, just because Morph's range is so low. You'd have a decent amount of magic damage output with the waveform early on if you want to try to get aggressive. I was curious if maybe they were going to switch it up and send the supports top with Bulldog and just try to free him up some farm early on, then solo lane the Lycan up against the BAP. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Instead, just opting to make sure Loda gets the start that he's going to want. We can see Mag's already down here, already got a ward down, but has yet to do much to the camp. But the lanes so far taking shape pretty much by the chalk. You wouldn't expect anything but this.
Yeah, I actually was thinking that was a possibility as well. But I think you nailed it, is that Lycan's not going to have a good time 1v1 against Bad.
Right.
In fact, he'd have an awful time. So, yeah, I think they just want to free up a little bit of farm. Like, if you can get away with free farm on Lycan, I say pretty much do it every single time. It's similar kind of like if you can get free farm on a Spectre, you do it. And Lycan's the same way. And Lycan's even better so, because if you get him free farm, get him like a, really, really fast 4.5 to 5 minute Vlads, you can maybe push the tower, rotate him into the jungle, and then leave that lane for another support and just really maximize your resources. It's the best hero, I think, to do that kind of thing. So, interesting 8 tangos there for Loda. I think that's a little bit excessive if you ask me, but hey, to each their own.
Yeah, whatever, I guess. Well, and the nice, he can use those to duck into the jungle to free up the lane for his supports too.
Oh, he missed his block too. It kind of sucks. He's pinging it out. He's like, "Help me!"
Here comes Ake back to help out, and
it's kind of risky. It's kind of risky blocking way back there. I know some people like to do it, but you basically can't touch H at all on your hero. You just have to move with it.
Yep.
But yeah.
Well, the lane's all ready to go, and we're going to have to keep an eye. I mean, we can see already Mag taking some damage as we heard the Grave Chill up at top. Bulldog's going to be having a bad time. Vanscore picked up a haste room. We can see this aggressive ward here just to give them the chance to engage and to be sure that if they do decide to maybe get it super aggressive and dive, that they'll be able to do so and have some idea of what's happening at the tower behind. But as of right now, looks like Mag at bottom just happy to go ahead and take what experience he can, not getting too chancy with coming into lane.
Yep, and I mean, Bulldog's doing the same thing. He bought boots as well. I actually saw him. He bought a stout shield at first, and then he was like, no, I want the boots. So he sold and bought boots. And he's level 2.5. I wonder if this is such a huge wave going out from him. I wonder if he should just go into the jungle now. And there's a courier, by the way, in the Alliance jungle just holding a health potion for S4. It's funny.
Just kicking it.
Sitting there. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a good idea of where everyone's going to be. I doubt that they suspect the back could get anywhere near it. And, you're not going to see any Bulldog snipes. No Nature's Prophet that just teleport magically on top of the courier because you're that good on the hero. But so far, Loda getting the job done. He and Morphling both tied in CS. This honestly feels like a very old school now anyway, kind of approach. Just 2 defensive tri-lanes with, one very typical off-laner, and then Bulldog, who just makes any hero a typical off-laner when he plays it. But should be relatively quiet, probably for the next couple of minutes at least, until we see night come, and maybe we'll see some movement towards mid.
Yep, S4 and Puck versus Exort and Invoker. It's kind of even because Puck has such really good base damage, and he went for the early null talisman. So he's 10-3, Invoker 7-1. I think that's to be expected. But now Resolution has the Forge Spirits to work with and help him. Not to mention Vanscore coming in and annoying S4 a bit with illusions, just for a little bit. So, yeah, relatively slow pace to start things off, but that's to be expected, I think.
Yep, always want to fly, pulling some creeps back. Getting close to level 3, Vanscore needs to start gaining some experience somewhere. Looks like they're going to... Nope, thought they were going to try to do something here. Maybe they will eventually, but for the most part, Bulldog also taking it easy. He's about level 3.5 as he did transfer into the jungle and beginning to get up his phase boots. So just using Devour and, of course, Scorched Earth to keep himself healthy right now as well. And Courier heading back in lane. That is a really cool animation on that Courier. I love it. Bottle and the Blades of Attack. But yeah, so... since there's not a whole lot going on elsewhere on the map, let's talk briefly about how we expect the mid-game to play out. Obviously, with Silent on the Morphling, Morph can start to contribute to fights early a little bit, just coming in, waveforming, maybe a little right-click, and then try to bail out before the fight turns on you. But for the most part, I feel like Alliance, especially once Doom hits 6, is going to have a tremendous advantage so long as they leave Loda alone. And this makes me think that Empire is going to have to be the ones who want to break this laning phase down a little bit earlier than Alliance. Would you agree, or do you think maybe there's something else that's in the works?
Yeah, I think so. And Alliance is being really smart about this. It's really good against offlaners when you're up against a solo hero for Lycan to just push it like every single time they leave. Good rotation from Vanscore early on to just fade Bolt and at the very least get a couple of last hits and some good experience. So very, very good rotation from him. That's going to stall the push a bit. And that's going to mean that Alliance is going to have to go back and do some pulls and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I just really like Lycan. I think I'm a big fan of him. And Haster bottom. But here's the thing: if Silent can get massive free farm, and if they push towers early, if he does go for a straight shotgun build or something like that, it will actually blow up Lycan. It can actually blow him up before he pops the shapeshift.
Yep.
So, but if he doesn't get enough good farm and doesn't really start to snowball and get a couple of kills under his belt by the 15-20 minute mark, I fear that once the shapeshift is popped from Lycan, that Morphling's just not going to be that effective.
Resolution caught with a coil phase shift from S4M with the help of Ake. They managed to get first blood here in mid. And S4 fresh off a level 6 showed off the coil for the first time, had help. Don't know that he needed it. It was a really nice play for him to phase shift and buy himself some time. And Alliance takes a 1-0 lead, so boding well for them out of mid.
Yeah, I mean, he got level 6 before Resolution, and then they timed it nicely so that the communication was there saying, I'm going to be level 6 soon, can you rotate, and it's a free kill basically.
Right.
So good communication, and just overall S4 not disappointing here on one of his signature heroes.
Speaking of level 6, Silent is getting up there as well. He leads in CS, just a handful above Loda, but he'll take what you can get. He's actually going to be getting a Midas as well, so there's going to be a window for Alliance to execute through, depending on what Loda does. Loda's one to just decide to get a Midas sometimes, just up and decide to do it. But he's already got his Bassi up, so I doubt that'll be the case. Probably going straight up Lads. But yeah, that just gives him a little bit of time. It also puts him on a bit of a clock. I mean, they're going to have a chance to try and fight and take advantage of what will ostensibly feel like a 5-on-4 situation. But if they don't execute and they're not able to hold the Morph down, we could see it get a little bit out of control later in the game.
Oh, poor Mag. Look at all these golems he has to work with. That's unfortunate. He's got 6 golems.
Oh, they managed to get Bulldog. I didn't think they were going to dive it. Silent did waveform him under his own tower, though. And thought Bulldog was going to be able to make it away with the Scorched Earth and the phase boots, but they're willing to go for it. And, yeah, definitely wasn't ignoring you, but like you said, Mag, oh, that's awful.
Yeah,
oh,
really
that's
sucks.
so bad. Oh,
Really
man.
sucks. RNG's is not in his favor.
Oh, that is terrible. That slows him down so much.
It really does, actually. Like, he was actually doing really well. Look at this. He did well in lane, and then he had to rotate. Oh, mid.
Another coil goes off. There's going to be a gale from the low ground. Ake shoots it well. However, the telekinesis onto S4 means he'll end up dropping. Can they finish him off? No. Oh, Ake so aggressive. Way too aggressive. Basically just fed them that one. And his eyes a little bigger than his stomach that time. And yeah, I mean, it's one thing to throw a gale. It's one to throw maybe one last auto attack, but he rushed all the way up. I mean, any chance he could have had to get away, and maybe that's why he committed. He just figured, hell, I'm here. I'm not going to be able to run away. I only have brown boots and so on, and may as well try to take a shot. But yeah, just like that. Go ahead.
I think he could have ran away. And even if that last auto attack hit, I don't think it would have killed the Resolution because he has 3 points in quads. And even if it would have ticked him down enough, he had 2 heroes around him to deny him. So kind of a silly play there, to be honest, from Ake. He could have definitely just saved his life, and I don't think that was worth it at all. Like, I don't even think he would have gotten the kill.
Always Wanna Fly's come over and is helping Mag clear out these damn golems. Still a freaking pack of them they're having to deal with, and certainly taking them a little bit more time than I'm sure they would like. Elsewhere, though, Loda has continued to farm. He and Morphling are dead even on farm now. He did go straight up Vlad, so most likely Tread's on the way next. And taking a look at Morphling's build, it'll be an Aquila. Most likely, anyway. He's got up, I don't know, it looks like he's halfway on the way to phase boost, halfway on the way to what could eventually become an Aquila. So very slowly, the item progression. Yeah, now it finishes phase boost. So.
Wow, I haven't seen that in a long time.
Phase boots on the Morph?
Yeah. Very interesting.
I was gonna. It seems like I should be more surprised by that, but it seems like I saw somebody do it. I want to say maybe someone on stream or something, and it just doesn't come as quite as much a surprise now. But at any rate, it's 3-1, and Empire does lead. Taking a look at overall efficiency, we can see Empire on the back of those kills has opened up about a 1,500 gold lead, and their experience is actually in great shape as well. They're going to try to take down the tier 1 top, and at the same time, looks like Alliance will take down the tier 1 bottom. No glyph's going to be popped on the side of Empire, and they pop the glyph at top, and I doubt, no way they get here in time to try to contest it, and they may push on through here. It's a shame EGM's not level 6. If it was, this would be actually a much stronger. They're going to have one person here that'll be Vanscore, throwing out the Fade Bolt to try and slow it down.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Loda doesn't have enough mana for to summon new wolves. AA Blast coming in.
Ooh.
Oh no, EGM actually might die.
Yep.
Oh no.
He's dead. Good shot coming cross map from Always Wanna Fly. And Mag now is level 7. Does not have his blink. I think he just bought it. Yep, just bought that blink. So S4 needs to clear out, as escapable as a puck can be. Even he's kind of susceptible to being jerked around by the lasso. But so far, things looking actually really good for Empire. It looked like Alliance was going to be in pretty decent shape. They started off with a very nice first blood and so on. But this is just the 10 minutes, and given that only one tower's down, Empire is looking pretty good. Now, Mag's going to try to get a pick here in mid. He's going to jump. Oh, S4 able to phase shift, but all the waiting rift went off just in time, and the coil, however, they were able to clean him up via the AA ultimate. Oh, no. They end up losing the bat nonetheless, and I guess assuming he was better off taking his chances with the coil damage than he was waiting on whoever was coming from Alliance to come in. But such quick reaction time out of S4. That's actually kind of sick. Now a cold snap on Ake. Ake's eating a lot of damage. Has to use his magic wand or his magic stick against these. And we're going to see, the Sunstrike off the mark. At bottom, Vanscore sucking up some much-needed XP. Bulldog also farming up. He's going with a pure mech build. Buckler's already done. So just bought the headdress, so only needs about another 550 gold. Another AA ultimate. Going to be shot behind, and let's see how deep they want to take it.
That's good presence of mind from Ake. He knew that it was coming out, so he kind of just sat over there and waited for it. So good job by him. And as you mentioned, that was a really nice play and heads up from S4. It's a shame he couldn't get more out of it, although he did get the kill actually. Yeah, forgot on the Mag, as Mag broke the coil. So really nicely played by S4 right there. Good reactions.
And we can see the Aquila now done on silent, and he will be moving on up to a Lincoln's. One would imagine Ring of Health is already complete on him, so still looking to really get going, but this has to be a concern. I mean, once this mech comes out from Bulldog, I think it needs to be their tag. They're going to need to just group as 5 and really start to get a lot out of this Lycan pickup. They're smoking around through the river now. That's going to be Ake and EGM trying to get a dive on a Vanscore. They get this, they may decide to push once again, and let's see what he got to. Yep, managed to, up at top, we're going to see the cleanup of Doom, and then down at bottom, Vanscore ends up dying just in the shadow of his own tier 2. And there'll be a quick reaction, but that's Mag. He's going to go ahead and jump and look for a lasso. Got hit with the Grave Chill, but no follow-up for it. And they end up trading support for Bulldog. And that's not too bad if you're Empire. If you're going to go 1-for-1, may as well trade those two.
Yeah, not to mention, like, when Alliance is getting kills, it has to be like 3 to 4 members at this point. But there's so much global presence from Empire that they don't even have to be there. Not to mention, if you get a kill with Sunstrike, you get the experience for Resolution. As a result, he's level 11 right now, despite giving up first blood. So Resolution doing really good for himself. AA Blast coming bottom. It might hit Ake. So close. Oh, man. Ake, it's like he knew something was up. It's like he's constantly dodging Sunstrikes and Ice Blasts. It's a hard life for Ake right now.
Just like you said, just knows what's coming and knew that that this would be the prime piece of real estate where they would expect him to be. So opting instead to stay a little bit out of it ends up paying off. Empire doubling up Alliance 6-3. Their gold lead continues to grow. We saw it dipped up for a second, now basically leveling off. Necrobook is now done on Lotus, so he'll most likely rush that up to a straight book 3. I feel like this is the right approach, and maybe a pure fighting item might have been the better choice, something like a BKB.
I still think that Necro is pretty much the item to always get on like it just suits his skill set so well. You buff up all your units with the Howl. You give him the movement speed bonus when you shapeshift, things like that. I just think it's... I mean, BKB could still be good, but obviously if you still get hit by the Ice Blast, it doesn't matter. You can still get lassoed, so I still think that this is the better choice. Also, I wanted to point out, just the stats don't lie, and there's a reason why I think they pick AA so much for Always Wanna Fly, because he has been pretty much on point with all these Ice Blasts.
Oh, yeah. And well, AA, I think, is going to end up being one of those heroes looking ahead to the big tournaments coming up, of course, ESL and the International, et cetera. I think we're going to see AA become perhaps one of those heroes that's picked or banned in 80-90% of all matches, if not more. I think he's just a really strong hero who contributes in every phase of the game. And maybe ultra late he falls off a bit, but even then, with the Scepter up, not so much, and especially against certain team composition style. Now we're going to have a dive on the Resolution. Immediately Ghost walks. Loda getting very aggressive and able to make it away. Did get hit with the Ice Blast, but I think he should be all right here. They'll have to get him down to 120 HP, and yeah, he'll be fine. So Empire continuing to hold serve. And up atop, we can actually see Silent is being left completely by himself. This has to be a concern now. Perseverance is done. He's going to have up his ultimate orb towards his Lincolns as well, so that Lincolns is not far away at all. And they also have a Midas up on Resolution who's getting a Necro book of his own. He's already got up the Staff of Wizardry and the Belt of Strength. And here we go. Lasso onto Ake, just completely blown to pieces by Resolution and the Fade Bolt, of course. So 7-3, Alliance is looking like they're a bit on the ropes here. And how do you this is kind of my concern. Lycan, you want to push, you want to be really just kind of rocking the Casbah for the first 20 minutes. But this hasn't been the case, and Morphling is already getting into a real nice fighting position.
Yeah, this is what I was afraid of, is Morphling getting way ahead of the Lycan, which he is. He's about 1,600 net worth above him, which is pretty scary, considering the fact that Lycan can actually farm way faster if you spread out your wolves.
Right. To
farm in one lane, or you farm in the jungle and things like that. Also to note, Admiral Bulldog, being the rat that he is, he actually skipped mech, went buckler, a casual buckler into Hand of Midas. And so I think that Alliance's game plan right now at this point is kind of to rat him out, to try to farm up as much as possible, because they know that it's hard to win early engagements against all this burst nuke damage coming out from Empire.
I don't know.
But S4 has an invis, and he now finally has his blink.
Here we go. Sitting up on the high ground, looking to make something happen, has a chance for a 2-man coil. Visage Familiars will be there to spot for him. In the meantime, we see Resolution is down farming the Ancients. It looks like they're just going to concede this tier 1. And I don't know that Empire minds this all that much. AA Ultimate is going to be there, but doesn't catch anyone. Alliance anticipating it and getting out of trouble. And we saw S4 go bottom, however, unable to prevent Morphling from sealing the deal on the bottom tier 1. So Alliance getting finally a tower off the map, a second tower anyway. And that's going to bring the gold lead. Yeah, still heading in the very, very high favor of Empire. And a lot of that has to do with those Midases, again, on Resolution and on the Morphling. And I feel like Alliance really has to start accomplishing a lot more. We're already 16 minutes into the game, and they have felt really inactive so far.
Yeah, and Doom is going to take a long time to get online, especially since he went for that Midas now. So as far as keeping the Morphling at bay in these early skirmishes, I mean, Morphling finally has his Lincolns. I shouldn't even say finally. It's 16 freaking minutes. I don't know what I'm saying that with the Midas. So he has his Lincolns, but until Doom gets like a blink or something to initiate a little bit better for the Morphling, I feel like Silent's just going to have free reign in these fights whenever he decides to come into them.
Might see one coming sometime soon, as Silent Lincoln's is done. It's on the way to him now. And S4's been spotted. Mag's right there with him. He's got a haste rune, though, so Mag opting not to go for it. Had a little bit of backup near him, but it was just Always Want to Fly, so not enough to bring him down reliably. We're going to see Alliance smoke right in their own jungle, and they have a suspicion of where they are. They're going to move right on up into the Ancients, it would seem.
Oh, my God.
Didn't even see how that happened. Actually, they're going right into the Roche pit. And they're going to be able to get away with this perhaps as the familiars have an eye on what's going on the high ground. And, yeah, they're going to be able to bring down Roche really quickly.
This is kind of funny because it's like literally right under the nose of Empire. That was insane, by the way. First of all, Mag was sitting here in the trees forever, just waiting for Loda, or not Loda, but waiting for S4. Here we go, engagement perhaps in mid, though.
Resolution trying to get out. No stun. He will be able to make it away safely. In the meantime, we see Silent just making his way back up the top lane. So Alliance able to get the kill, or bring down Roshan, and then try to make something happen in mid, unable to catch up with anyone, though. It's 8-3, and hopefully looking to turn this around. I'm really concerned for them. I think Empire has played this out about as well as you can ask any team to do so. They got their Midases, and they're just kind of holding serve, man. They're just kind of holding map control as best they can. They're not being too over-aggressive. They're not trying to take fights whenever they don't need to. They know with those two Midases up on heroes like an Invoker and a Morph, they're eventually going to get to the point they can just steamroll, even though Bulldog does have his mech now. I mean, like, they're going to have to start to fight soon, but I feel like they've bought their time very well. And the next, if we see a big 5-man coming up soon, yeah, it doesn't even look like they're going to challenge this tier 1 at top.
Yeah, and the pushing power is definitely there for Alliance, though. It's really strong. The one thing that's going against them is that against pushes, when they're grouped up, the AA blasts are going to do some work. Here comes another one. Also, yeah, bottom when Puck got killed there. Super heads-up play by S4. He just knew that Mag was sitting in the trees there. But literally, an Ice Blast plus a Sunstrike just killed him. That's got to be really scary for future fights if you're any of these squishy support heroes or even Puck himself.
Fadebolt trying to buy some time. They don't have a glyph, so this tier 2 likely to drop. Yeah, they're just going to try to trade, it looks like. Vanscore's trying to keep him busy. Managed to get Devour off of Doom. And there's a coil spit by S4. They're going to be able to get at least a solo kill here. They did spin their ultimates to do so, and they may decide to rush down the tier 3. This is going to force Empire back. In mid, they're completely untouched. We're unable to touch the tier 2. Now the tier 3 at top, under assault. AA ultimates coming in. And actually a lot of damage done to Always Want to Fly there. Behind the fight, we can see Silence coming in. Had his Lincolns popped. And, yep, able to knock back EGM. With the adapter striking a waveform through him, they should be able to get at least one return kill here. Mag there to help things out, but Silent the one to get the kills. So even though they managed to come out ahead slightly in towers, I mean, but look, whenever you look at the actual tower lead, it's still Empire's lead. Only one outer tier tower still standing on the side of Alliance, while Empire has 2. And you look at the net worth, the 2 that are on top are the 2 you want to be on top. All of the net wealth on the map is so concentrated in the top 3 of the Lycan, the Morphling, and the Invoker. Unfortunately, that fall off between Lycan and the Doom is going to account in large part for the lead. Yeah, basically almost entirely accounts for the lead that's been generated by Empire so far. And it's only going to get worse is the problem, as the Midases have now paid for themselves.
This AA is really farmed, by the way. Like, normally you see just Ags rush. He's only level 9, but he actually almost has his Ags, but he also has a mech on top of that, which is pretty crazy. So, yeah, he's very, very farmed. The thing I'm very scared for Alliance is that they have done a good job about trying to push where they can, but you almost have a shotgun up on the Morphling very, very soon, actually. And I fear that if you have an Ice Blast come out from Always Want to Fly and it hits, like, anyone,
right?
I'm positive they're going to kill anyone they want to with an Ice Blast plus the shotgun from Morphling.
Oh, for sure, man. And it's only, yeah, speaking of, like you said, oh, wow. I didn't know Silent was that close to it. He's already got his Ghost Scepter up. He's going to farm one or two more waves and have up his Eth Blade at 22. It's literally going to be like 23 minutes into the game, maybe 24. He'll have the Eth Blade up. And, wow, that was an interesting stat. And speaking of, shout outs to Nahaz, as always, for doing our stats for us here today, at least for this first game. We'll see if he's going to be able to stick with us throughout the whole day. But a grand total of, well, I didn't even, what was it, 5 or 9? I think it was 9 total experience levels ahead of Alliance right now. That's what Empire's been able to do. And yeah, the gold already is getting pretty out of hand, 7,500-ish, but it's the experience that's really beginning to look ugly. And that is such unbelievable value whenever you talk about an Invoker and a Morphling. Those heroes just scale so ridiculously well with levels.
Yeah, they really do. I like Loda's choice to go here for the Basher. It's really, really good against, I mean, anyone, but in particular, if you want to help lock down that Morphling, keep him down before he gets off, like a second waveform to get away or something like that. It's very, very strong. And obviously the upgrade of the Abyssal is like one of the best items in the game for, you know, the best bang for your buck, so to speak. So I like that. I like that choice. They still have this Aegis here on Loda, but I actually doubt that they're going to be able to really use it because they're going to want to use it in like a team fight, but I don't think the Alliance has any room to team fight right now. It's just way too strong. It's way too hard against Empire.
I don't think they can until Loda has a BKB. They can't reliably anyway, and that's the only issue I have with the Dead Basher. I mean, you don't think he'll get a BKB this game?
No, I'm just saying I don't even think that's going to help them like team fight. I think it's going to have to be on Admiral Bulldog to get. Well, he's got almost 4K right now. I'm really curious about what he decides to buy because I feel like he's going to be the one to kind of turn the tides this game. The Doom is going to be so important here if he can get it off onto Silent before he casts anything. Or
yeah.
Yep, there's the Eth-Blade.
E-Blade done. Boots of Travel picked up on Lycan. That's fine. But that just puts him, I feel like he's going to have a BKB. Like, there's just so much he's got to worry about between Sunstrike, between the AA Ultimate and everything else like that. I mean, hell, just between being shotgunned down, that's going to be an issue. And the Aegis is going to be reclaimed as we speak. Bulldog's got 4,200 gold tucked away. And an Assault Cuirass makes a ton of sense to me. When you talk about what's going to help the team the most, of course, helping out Loda is a big deal in that regard. Dealing with the late-game Morphling, you're going to need something. No, he's actually going to get a Halberd. So instead of trying to help the whole team, he wants to shut down one hero. And makes sense. I mean, Morphling is the majority, the vast sustained DPS in any fight right now. Here's another AA Ultimate. That's going to... Yep. Oh, they're going to get him. Yep, and Mag's going to go ahead and jump on S4 as well. Here come the mass TPs. Sunstrike is there. Phase shifts out of it, though. S4, nonetheless, will be cleaned up. Here comes Bulldog. I don't think they should be charging up here. Silent is too strong at this stage of the game, and the Eth-Blade is not on cooldown that long. And they end up losing their two most important cores back-to-back. And that's exactly what we were talking about. How do you team fight into that? How is it possible?
You can't, and... I really feel that maybe Admiral Bulldog should have perhaps got a blink this game.
Yep.
And tried to be a little bit more aggressive with it. I mean, he had a lot of gold. He bought this Heaven's Halberd, which I don't agree with because I feel like it's mainly for this. I mean, I guess for Resolution 2, perhaps, but it's mainly for the Morphling, right? Well,
right.
That's the target you should be dooming anyway. I feel. So I feel like it doesn't really help with the problem so much because once you've doomed him, problem solved. So I think it's a matter of dooming him first, and then you can worry about other heroes. And if you're worrying about the other heroes, you don't really need a Heaven's Halberd. So, not 100% sold on that item, and I feel like a blink would have been much more effective this game.
Mag has actually picked up a Mask of Madness. Basically, the item progression on the Empire side is more or less out of control right now. Rubik has a before staff, but that's not really the problem. Scythe of Vice is already done on Resolution, so you're talking a no BKB Lycan. It's up against a Bat Rider with this much mobility. He's up against Cold Snap. He's up against Cold Feet. He's up against Scythe of Ice. I honestly just don't know what he can do. And he's unless he's got it on the courier and I haven't seen it. Yeah, he is nowhere near a BKB right now. Doesn't even have up an Ogre Club. And they're just going to have to turtle like hell. Like, that's really the only answer I've got. But the problem is, you do that, you're running into a late-game Morphling about 20 minutes from now, and I don't know that's a fight Lycan can win either. And our chat trivia, as we see it is a little quiet on the map, who are the only three heroes to be banned in more than 50% of Pro Dota drafts on record since March 1st.
Ember Spirit.
For sure.
Lycan. And... oh, man. I want to say Invoker, but that's probably not it.
I don't think so. Like... it's tough to call, man. Like, whenever you think about all the heroes, because they've come and they've gone, and you lose perspective on what the flavor of the month might be, and here, there, and everywhere, you know. But
I'll just say AA, I guess.
AA, I want to say AA, and there's going to be another pickoff, by the way, onto the Lycan, as Loda is just getting utterly blown to pieces. And, like, without a BKB, he's useless. Like, he literally can't fight. They have so many ways to account for him. And, I mean, hell, even the Eth-Blade, now they're going back on S4. He's going to have to phase shift and try to jaunt to the high ground. We'll be able to make it. But this is just a masterfully executed draft. And we're going to have a lasso now on the EGM in front of the fight. He's going to end up dropping with no question. Silent has gone just complete ham. He's 6-0-2. He's got a net worth of near 20,000. at 27 minutes. And I'm just like, this is the Empire I think that we've missed, man. Like, again, Empire has looked great. Up and, you know, they've been up and down somewhat, but they looked so good for so long. And then they came into the Western Challenge and got beat twice. But now today, I think they showed up with their A game. They weren't about to let Alliance show up in a doubleheader and start things off the way they wanted.
Yeah, no, they're playing definitely way better than when we last saw them. And I'm also really impressed with just this global combination between Resolution and Always Want to Fly. It's really, really fun to watch. I feel like they've just been landing those Sunstrikes and Ice Blasts all over the map this entire 28-minute game. So it's been really fun to watch, and I like their draft. I do still think that there was a couple weird item pickups from Alliance. And you mentioned the BKB, but I don't really fault Loda too much for not having it this early. I don't feel that... Oh god, Morphling is just... Oh, finally the Doom on him, but yeah, he didn't get the strength gain off, so he might actually fall here.
Yep, this is going to be a real nice return kill. That's 1,000 gold they just picked up there. Vanscore ran forward, stole the ultimate, and then used it to run away, so cheeky little bastard. In the meantime, though, as I guess you can say hashtag space created, Alliance kept busy back near the old side of their own tier 2. They're going to get here in time, but Loda came so far forward. There's the Hex. He can't do anything. That was against just 3 with a whole team behind him, and he couldn't stay alive long enough to even get a right click off. Ice Wall goes down. Resolution is caught up and may end up dead behind that. We're going to see Mag lassoing S4, but he's probably going to want to run. Resolution still alive on the high ground. S4 now in trouble. Force Staff gets him ahead of things. Lots of burst damage, though, as Mag has to get to the high ground just so he can bottle back up. And he's not done, though. He's still continuing to hang around in the hopes that he'll catch a straggler with low health. Resolution, again, did make it away just by the skin of his teeth. Has that Aegis, though, and has 4,100 gold tucked away aside. But, yeah, I think this one is... it's just hard for me to imagine how they're going to be able to get Loda involved in fights. And even once the BKB comes out, it's been so much time, and the Morphling is so far ahead. I mean, he's more than one full big item ahead right now.
Yeah, I almost feel at this point it's pointless to get a BKB because, yeah, the shotgun's going to hurt, but he's just also going to right-click you to death with the bat lasso on top of that.
Right.
So it's... I don't think that this is necessarily the strongest BKB game for Lycan. It is... Like, if he had more farm and this is more even, I would say yes, because the things that are going to annoy you are, like, the cold snap from Invoker late game, and then just lots of mini stuns, the Rubik lift, things like that, and obviously the shotgun. But I mean, they're so far behind. It's very difficult for him. And finally, the blink comes out for Doom, and I feel like this needed to happen a lot earlier.
Yep, was Invoker, by the way, the chat trivia question.
Oh, okay. Oh, and it was the top one actually. So.
Yep. Bat and AA right behind him. So well done, my friend. Well done. Continue.
Oh no, I was just saying he finally got the blink up onto Doom, and I think it's just a little bit too late. I think that the key to winning this fight, or winning the early game, or I should say mid game for Alliance, was to just isolate the Morphling as soon as the fight started to break out. But it's going to be much more difficult now. I mean, just the farm and the graphs, 22,000 EXP, 12,000 gold. It's very, very difficult to turn the tides here.
Yep. And basically, if you take a look, I mean, right now Lycan and Doom are right on top of each other in terms of farm. If you look at the lead that Morphling and the Invoker have on those two, that basically accounts for all of that lead. All of their gold lead is pretty much just concentrated on the lead on those heroes alone, though Mag is in pretty good shape too. Still pretty close down the stretch. But Empire looks like they're ready to try and close this one out. Grouping for a push down bottom. Is no tier 3 standing. Alacrity onto Silent. Lincoln's is up both on Silent, but Resolution also has a spare one that he's willing to use to help his buddy out. And already has his replicate up. And they're going to rush up. Here we go. Silent trying to get into range. Just look how hard he's hitting already. There's the Alacrity. And Chilling Touch as well. Waiting to get another dose of the Lincolns. There you go. And yeah, just able to bring it down kind of for free. They honestly didn't have to commit anything there.
Yeah, it's the big thing that really completes this lineup for Empire is this AA. It really does, because even if you start to get a good fight, they're not going to be able to regen anything. That mech is going to be useless for Admiral Bulldog, not to mention the Scorched Earth for the extra regen. And if he casts it from far away, which I almost wonder if he should like just not even be next to the team, just so that he can ensure like getting multiple people in that ulti would be maybe a better choice. But maybe he wants to offer a little bit of assistance. The Ice Vortex is very good in fights, Chilling Touch, all the things he has to offer, not just the ultimate.
Here we go. Maybe looking to run out. Hal popped. Still trying to buy time. Here we go. There's a Doom immediately on Always Want to Fly. Good coil. And they come back out. Sheepless goes off. Down comes the rock from the Invoker, though. And behind the fight, Silent still up and fighting. Silent does not have the Aegis. It's the Invoker that does. Resolution helping clean house while Silent dives behind the racks itself. Everyone else has made it away fairly well. Sunstrike brings down yet another. Silent might end up dropping here if he's not very careful. Nope, able to right-click S4 down just in time, morphing his strength. Lotus there, but GG called out, and yeah, I think that sums it up. Look at Empire's lineup, how low they were. Loda ran forward, put his chest out, then got his chest beaten in. They just had so many answers for what he was going to contribute to a fight. And the double Midas approach worked, like you said. The AA, though, really the crux around which this entire Empire lineup rotated. And that's the Empire, I think, that whenever you go back a few weeks and say that might be the best team in Dota today on the planet, that's what we expected to see of them then, and they showed it to us right now.
Yeah, I think the Morphling last pick caught Alliance off guard just a little bit. They picked the Doom to try to counter it up, but it didn't act as a counter at all, the way that they played the Doom. He didn't get anything in lane. He actually got killed, and then his farm was very, very slow as a result. He went for more of a rat build with the Midas, which he sold, by the way. I didn't even realize that, which Doom did sell the Midas. And it just didn't work out. The Heaven's Halberd was questionable to me. I think Puck S4 played fantastically in mid. They got the first blood on Resolution, but the Morphling pick was so good against what they had already outside of the Doom because it was very, very difficult to contain him. But the big thing here was the global presence from Invoker and AA. They together did so much work, and I think are the main reasons why Empire just rolled over Alliance this game.
Yeah, no, I very much agree with you. Their ability to just take what was given to them. And, and Alliance had a couple of moments where it looked like they were going to turn things around, sneaking the Roshan right under their nose and so on and so forth. But I mean, like you said, the AA just so far ahead, had a mech and a scepter up at what, like 20 minutes, 20-something? It was something ridiculous. Already had himself up a plate mail by the time that game ended as well. Standout performers, obviously Silent, finishing a 33-minute game at level 23, not too shabby. Midas be damned. Finished up at 748 overall GPM, 10-1 and 4 for him. He and Resolution were a collective 16 and 2, accounting for 16 of Empire's 21 kills. Impressive feat in and of itself, especially when you factor in Always Want to Fly and the way he was able to contribute. Even Mag on the Bad Rider, there wasn't a moment where you're like, oh, Mag making big plays. I mean, he faced some hardships in the jungle and bounced back from those stupid mud golems. But
yeah, that was really unfortunate.
It is. That slows you down.
I felt really, really bad for him. But 6 mud golems.
Yes, and it had to get AA to come help him out. But despite that, he played very well. Just a great team effort across the board. And Loda and company just unable to really get things under control in the mid game. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers. Thanks for being a part of the broadcast, guys. Again, we're live from our downtown studio here in San Francisco. D2L Western Challenge action. That Fridge is not my co-commentator, though I'm sure we'll still have like the lower thirds. That was, by the way, hilarious. I saw that tweet, and that literally made me belly laugh. Tralf does have a different voice than what a refrigerator would be able to produce, and certainly a lot more insight and analysis at the very least. You can find us both on Twitter. I'm at AC. He's at Tralf Dota. Also check out Nahaz. He's our stat man, and he's doing a great job so far. Tweets cool stats all the time, and generally just the dudes you want to be following if you love Dota. Game 2 of Empire versus Alliance coming up next on the Western Challenge. Stick with us.